We have over 350 firearms, starting with a 1440 matchlock, which a matchlock is one that you had to carry the fire with you. There was no method known to mankind at that time to fire a gun without having a torch of some kind with you, which in this case was a wick that was slow burning. When that wick burned out, you just well go home. You weren't going to fire a gun that particular day. We have historical pictures, which I have negatives for over 3,000 and probably displaying 1,000 of them here. We have antique tools from hay saws on up to hand saws, drills, and most all the tools that were used in the early building of this nation. I have hit and miss engines, grist mill, blacksmith shop tools. We have music machines, the Edison recorders, record players, antique toys, several hundred. There are coins and currencies, beginning with a half cent all the way up to a $10,000 gold certificate. A huge collection of Confederacy currency that all indications are that it was left over at the end of the Civil War from a local guy who was reputed to be the first white settler in the Tellico Plains area.
Tell me about the telephones and your connection with that.
I purchased the old telephone company here in Tellico Plains in January the 1st, 1955. In October of '56, we converted to dial with 100% new plant. Every pole, telephone wire, everything complete new. In '56, I purchased 2 more systems, a Von Orr Nyota system, converted those to dial in 1957. Same deal. Did away with all the old magneto wall hand crank telephones and modern dial. And then in '58, purchased Riceville and converted it to dial in 1959. I have displayed here 287 at the last count, antique telephones, beginning with a replica, an exact replica of Mr. Bell's first telephone, where he spilled acid on his pants and yelled for Mr. Watson to come here, I want you. And he had spilled the exact amount of acid out of the cup that he was using as an exciter to make the telephone work, to get the right mixture. So Mr. Watson heard him on the telephone rather than through the wall where he yelled for him. Have that displayed right on up to the modern day cell phones. And, of course, that was a way of making a living for me at that time. I bought the old system because I could see it was run down. And, I'd lived elsewhere where we did have modern dial phones, and thought Tellico Plains ought to have the same. And was fortunate enough to accomplish that.
And what other telephone company related items do you have on display?
Well, one that I guess I'm the most proud of is a 22 Model T telephone repair truck. It's has an engine of 20 horsepower, and compared to one of the smaller ones today is 150 horsepower, on up to 600 horsepower on just automobiles. But this is the only one left in the world as far as we know. And I had been collecting all these items, and they were stored in the basement, my warehouse, a garage warehouse that I had, all over the house. And the children would come home, and grandchildren would want to know if they could see something that their parents had told them about. I'd spend an hour taking it out and showing it, and an hour placing it back. said, the heck with that, I might as well just build a nice building and display these items where that I won't have to spend all that time. We're collecting more all the time. And about that time, the Cherry Hill Skyway was announced that would come through my property here where the museum is. And said, hey, just build it there and let everybody see it. So, and it's worked out great. And it is a foundation where that when Billy and I pass on, that it'll be left here. The girls can serve on the board, the grandchildren can serve on the board, but it'll never belong to them. It'll always be public. Okay, this is my wife, Billy. We were married July the 18th, 1943, which gives us a little over 66 years. Right out of high school, been high school sweethearts. Actually, we started the school together in first grade. We've had a great life, 4 children, 8 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren.
And tell us about how you and Billy have been involved in the community over the years.
Oh, it's, our involvement has been, we were active in our church, of course, and at the school with our children, you know, growing up here and going to school. We're purchasing the telephone company. I served as mayor 31 years, 2 years as an alderman, 6 years as justice of peace, and 6 years as a county commissioner. So we've just been active in local politics, I guess you would say. Things I was proud to have paved the streets of Tellico. They were dirt and gravel when I was elected mayor in 1951. And build the water system, the sewer system, and basically the backbone structure of the town. Been very fortunate, been very blessed.
I remember reading in your book, The History of Tellico Plains, how you sat around and listened to the local men tell stories in your father's shop.
Yeah, my dad had a general country store where they sold everything, shoes and clothing and farm feeds and this type of thing. And of course, all the farmers would come in, and on the cold days, they would gather around the old pot-bellied stove, and I, from 6 years old up, would listen to their stories. And it gave me a great insight on history and piqued my interest in it. But I've lived long enough too that I can recite a lot of the history from first-hand knowledge.